Hi, this is Taylor Rocket for Frag World, and with me I actually have the product manager of a very fledgling game, but it's actually coming up on its beta stage. It's a new game. It's an FPS shooter. It's an FPS called Blacklight Retribution. Could you tell us a little about that?
Certainly. Blacklight Retribution is a free-to-play first-person shooter based on the Unreal Engine, running DirectX 11. So it's using the latest technology and graphics. It's designed for PC. And we are going into our closed beta starting next week with our larger closed beta phases beginning in November. And we are here. Intel invited us to come out for the party here and to demo the game. We did really well at PAX. We had a lot of players, a lot of success there. The game was popular. And with Zombie Studios, who is our developer, and Perfect World Publishing, it's our first-person shooter, and we're happy to have a free-to-play game that we think people are going to like.
Now, since it's going to be a free-to-play game, and one of the greater way to market it, are you expecting to have this put on Steam as a free-to-play game?
Yeah, we've definitely been involved with Valve. So my company, Perfect World, has already had 2 games come out on Steam, Forsaken World and Rusty Hearts. So we're definitely going to be looking into the Steam option for us with Blacklight as well. But we don't have anything to announce yet for that.
So what kind of people can we expect are going to be invited to the closed beta?
So the first phase of closed beta is going to be a hardware test of our servers. So we're going to be letting in players as we need in order to test our hardware. And then starting on November 3rd, we have a VIP closed beta with Intel that they've been giving away keys for through a number of sources. I think Curse is giving away some keys now as well for that. So that's starting on November 3rd. Then on November 10th, we can expect to have more of the larger wave of players coming in as we ramp up our servers.
Now, what about Blacklight Retribution? Do you think is different than other FPSs? What do you think sets you above the crowd and says this is our game, this is why it's good?
Sure. One of the most popular things that we've seen from players is the customization in the game is very deep. You can customize all the components of your gun, starting at the barrel and going all the way back to the stock of the gun. All of those components change the statistics of the weapon. So you can take a sniper rifle and you can tune it in order to be a light, fast class that has a higher movement rate but lower damage. Or you can take a light machine gun and you can add a lot of hit points and build your character to be sort of a heavy gunner. But the player gets to choose that customization. So we leave the player, we give them full choice in the way that they want to build that character. So that's something that a lot of FPS games don't really do. They normally give you a set 4 classes. You're a medic, or you're an engineer, or you're an assault class. In Blacklight, you're able to pick those skills and build your character the way that you want. So that's something that differentiates us as well. We also have the Weapon Depot, which is in-game, allowing you to purchase better weapons in the course of battle. Works very much like the cash initial round in Counter-Strike, where you buy weapons at the beginning of the round, except for you can do this at any point you want in the round. So you basically walk up to a depot in the map, and then you activate the menu in that system, and then purchase weapons out of that. The best being the hard suit, which is a humongous mech robot you call down and you can pilot it. And so that basically turns the tide of battle at that point. And then it becomes a rock, paper, scissors type mechanic where the other players have to buy other weapons that they can counter the mech with. So a rocket launcher, or if they buy a flamethrower, they can cook the pilot of the mech, kill him, leave the mech undamaged, and then take it over. So there's a lot of that rock, paper, scissors mentality in the game as well. And that's something that isn't there in a lot of FPS games. So I think that's something that players enjoy a lot. So.
Now we got a little footage of this thing that one of the Intel devs called a hyper reality visor. Could you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so HRV is a feature where you basically turn on a legalized wall hack in the game. It enables you to see the enemy players through walls. And it recharges, so you can only activate it once the meter is full. So it is balanced, but what we find out is it eliminates camping in the game. There's no reason to go and hide behind a corner when everyone can see you hiding there. So it delivers the battle more directly to the players, where you always know where your enemies are, and then it becomes this sort of this meta game of balancing your HRV with your tactics. Basically, are you going to push in and fight when you know that they know where you are? And then you can feign, and it adds a lot of strategy that a lot of players are very skeptical about until they play the game and realize that it's a really cool system in the game. So
I take it you guys are still working with a lot of numbers, damage meters, and such for weaponry as far as that goes?
Yeah, in our closed beta, we'll be looking at balancing the weapons themselves, balancing the leveling, how fast players can accrue experience in the game, and then how much they're earning in-game by playing to enable them to buy items in the game. So balancing the economy of the game. So we're pretty comfortable with a lot of the gameplay systems, but there's a lot of the sort of the monetization tuning, I guess you want to call it, getting our game point system down so that we're able to sell players can earn game points, not real money, but we have a lot of testing that we need to do as far as making the game fun and making sure that players are going to come back and keep playing. So.
Now, with a lot of free games, we notice that there's usually some kind of store, some way you can purchase in-game objects, be it for greater weaponry or just aesthetics. Is there going to be anything like that for this game?
Right. So in the store, in the game, players will be able to customize the color of their weapons or the color of their armor, the gear they're wearing. They can add things like an extra loadout slot, or they can play for hero characters, which are basically a pre-built character that starts with a full built-out skill tree and a customized weapon for that hero character. They have a unique look in the game. They come with a unique taunt. So we're giving players the ability to differentiate themselves on the battlefield, but they're still using the same base weaponry that a free player would be able to use. So we're trying to keep it balanced for our free customers as well as our paying customers, so that they just look different and they have maybe more advanced features as far as being able to throw a better taunt at the guy after they kill him. But the guns are all in the game and accessible for everyone.
Now I have a couple more questions before we wrap this up. As far as back to the depot, when you're accessing the depot, will you be able to get shot at and killed in the middle of purchase?
Right, so we find that once players learn the game, they start to realize that if the player who's at the weapon depot is careless, they can basically get killed while they're shopping, and then what they bought can be stolen. So you have to be very careful when you're buying at the depot to use HRV and make sure there's not someone waiting to kill you as soon as you get your valuable item that you just purchased at the depot. So you do have to be careful, but it's part of the balance of the game. So
now, one last question. When do you think there will be an open beta or even like the release date for this game?
We're shooting for our open beta in the winter time, and it's looking probably the first quarter of 2012 for the release.
Oh, thank you very much. Blacklight Retribution, everybody. Look forward to it.